Rafi's tips for artists because he loves you.
Hola, you amazing artists, and welcome to the studio where today we're going to talk about logistics.
Indeed.
The real meaning of logistics, not what Clee thinks it means. Yeah, sometimes you say logistics and I'm like, I don't think it means what you think it means.
Oh, it means what I think it means. Our awesome question comes from Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. Hi, Rafi. He said hi.
Oh.
My name is Matthew. I'm an aspiring...
How did he know?
I don't know. I'm an aspiring and inspired by both of you, artist in oils. I've watched most of your videos and I love the warmth and genuine nature you both are. My question, you say to get your work out there. I'm at the point that I want to do this, however, I'm wondering about the actual logistics of this, which I can't find an answer for. Do you take a bunch of paintings to, say, a coffee shop and ask if they want to hang them? Do you take your computer or iPad and show images of your paintings to the owner of an establishment? It seems impractical to just show up at a business with a bunch of paintings, but maybe that's what happens. Any thoughts would be really helpful. Thanks for all the videos. They're inspiring me. And also, your book got me through a rough patch where I was really down about my art and if I was kidding myself about being an artist. So thank you, Rafi, for all that you do and all that you are.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt. You're correct. It is impractical to take a bunch of paintings to a coffee shop and present them in that way.
Although that would be awesome. If you just showed up with like 100 paintings and were like, excuse me, excuse me.
I'm here to install these,
Yes.
and here's the contract.
That's actually a great question because it caused me to think about...
The ways in which you've put your art in places.
Yeah, because I think about that, and honestly, Matt, it just kind of happens, and that answer sucks. Trust me, I know. So I'm going to elaborate a little bit on what I mean there. There was some advice that I got from somebody when we were doing our travels and we were in Key West several years ago, and we were talking about business cards because Clea and I ordered our first business cards back then, and it was Rafi was here, and we were like musicians and artists and whatnot, and so we had gotten a box of 500, right? Because we were cheap and there was a good deal on 500
of them. It was an
of them.
investment.
So I was like, we've got 500 business cards. And it's almost like you're looking at these business cards as if, they're gold, right? I am only going to hand these out to the right person, like a golden ticket.
You're qualifying people like, should I give you one or not?
Exactly. And the advice that he gave me was, he basically looked at me and said, you need to give those away like water. I just paid like $40 for these. I'm not going to just hand these out like water. And he told me a story of the top salesperson, a car salesperson, and how this guy was like the top sales person in the state from where he was at. And he said that this guy walked around with business cards and basically gave business cards to everyone.
Literally everyone. Like waiting in an elevator with someone, give them business cards. Grocery shopping and the cashier at checkout, business card.
Basically, he just gave business cards to everyone. And so, although we don't necessarily do that because we're constantly forgetting to bring our business cards with us.
Fail.
We're really terrible business people. What we do is make it a point to introduce ourselves and talk about our art to just about everyone that we meet, right? And it just comes up in conversation because this is our life. This is our lifestyle. So the moment that a conversation starts and somebody asks you, like, what do you do? And you tell them that you're an artist, then at that point, that's an in. You're opening up your conversation. I don't carry around an iPad, and I obviously don't carry around all my art or even a portfolio, but a lot of times I'll have stuff on my phone that I'll show them. If I do happen to have my bag that has my portfolio in it, I can show them some of my art that way, give them a business card and tell them they could see a lot more of my art online. Now, when it comes to like a coffee shop like that, sometimes you go in and you're just kind of looking around at the walls and looking and seeing if there's an opportunity there. So then you ask whoever works there, like, hey, do you guys ever like hang any local art or anything like that? And usually what they'll say is like, I don't know. Or yes, you'll need to talk to my boss or whatever, and then you ask for the boss's phone number or ask if he's there and just have the conversation. You could pretty much do this anywhere you go. When we went to one of the restaurants downtown, I looked up and I saw some artwork up on the wall. And so this is the thing. Whenever I see artwork already on the wall, I'll ask them. And it doesn't matter to me if it is local art or if it is like cheap Walmart bought art. I will always ask them if it is a place that I'm interested in showing my art. There are a lot of places that we go to that I'm like, I don't want to put my art here. It might be a bar or a restaurant where I don't feel that my art is safe. In fact, there's a lot of places that we've been to that they do show local art.
But you're like,
and
nah.
I'm like, no, it doesn't hurt to ask. And you don't have to come in with proof immediately, even if you have like a few pictures on your phone and it's just something, or you could send them an email, tell them, if you have a conversation with them, you could say, well, I could send you some samples of my pieces in an email later and have email communication. But I think most importantly, it is opening up that dialogue to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Might be a process where you talk to them. There have been people that I contacted and they were kind of like hemming and hawing about it. And then, a year or so later, they contacted me and were like, hey, do you still like do the art thing or whatever? And do you still do the art thing? And I'm like, yes, I do. Well, I'd love it. We have this new area. We'd love to put more artwork in. And then sometimes what'll happen is you'll have businesses contact you.
Because they wonder where the other business got the art from.
Exactly.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
Sometimes there was one example early on. I went and got a haircut, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And this lady had just opened a beautiful new salon in the historic district. There was no art on the walls. And through the duration of the haircut, you were like, you could use some art here.
Yep. I was like, your walls are so plain. This place is so cool, but your walls are so plain. Do you have art that you're planning on putting up? And she's like, not really. I haven't thought about it. I was like, well, so they get this beautiful art that hangs on their walls so that their walls aren't plain and boring. And I get to sell my art from there.
And it's not just coffee shops and restaurants. It's real estate offices. It's real estate closing offices. It's hair salons. It's wherever you might go. I think probably one of the most comfortable places to start is with places that you might already frequent.
Yes.
And we have found that definitely it's easier to deal with privately owned places rather than franchises and things like that. I'm not saying that that's out of the question.
I mean, no, you could definitely go to franchises, but a lot of times, because I worked in Starbucks, so like even to hang artwork in my store, I was in the River North area.
You had to get corporate approval.
I had to go through a lot of red tape because they've got insurance issues and they've got this and they've got that. So like a lot of times when it comes to those, if they don't have artwork up, they got to get it approved by a bunch of people to get it done. I'm not saying you don't do it. You should definitely approach whatever you can. Approach as many places as you can with the intent of getting at least 20 no's. So,
or we don't know, we'll think about it.
Yeah, but just make it a game where you're like, I'm going to go out today. I'm going to get, maybe not just today, but I'm going to go out this week. And my goal is to get 20 no's, right? And that way you go into a place and you ask and you have the conversation, and it's not this life and death thing of like, am I going to show my art? Are they going to say no? What if they say no? Like that way you're like, all right, thank you so much. Well, here's my card if you ever change your mind. The other thing that I had to offer was that because I knew a lot of the local artists too, I knew that if it came down to it and I needed to call another artist because not that I'd worry about it if it was a big location because I have a lot of art. Mm-hmm. So I could pretty much fill just about any space. But in case they wanted to diversify it, like it was cool because I knew other artists and I was willing to bring other artists in to every situation. So I never dealt with anything that felt overwhelming because I knew that I was able to set my own terms because we were just having a conversation.
Honestly, once you get that ball rolling, it does take time, but it does tend to grow organically. Like, for example, we have a relationship with a little boutique downtown. They know the people that own this restaurant over here, and they're like, say, those people could use your art too. And a lot of it's word of mouth, or a restaurant being like, where did you get those paintings? Or even, I've seen you 10 times out at places,
Yep.
and I own this place downtown. Once you get your toe in the water with one or two places, and you kind of can let it happen organically. But definitely don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. And have some digital examples of your work.
Yeah.
Easily accessible.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't need to be overwhelming or a big to-do about it. Most places, if they're interested, will say, like, well, how do I see your art?
Yeah.
And you can either send them to your website or show them right then and there.
Yeah, so if it's easy for you to carry around your iPad and just have a folder on there with your stuff, then absolutely do that. Just remember, like, a lot of people approach this almost like it's a sales pitch. It's not. You're just having a conversation with another human being who happens to run a business that maybe they'd be interested in you putting your art in there. And essentially you approaching them is you quantifying whether or not they're a good fit for you. If they say no, then they're not a good fit for you. If you're looking around their business and you're like, actually no, then they're not a good fit for you. As far as other ways of putting yourself out there, obviously I'm a big proponent of posting online, but also not just trying to sell things online. You know, like I said before with the businesses, it's a conversation. So when you're posting online, post about you, post about your artwork, post about why you love creating art. You know, like make it part of who you are, not just like today only, I've got this piece, you know, like you
show your progress, show works in progress, tell your story, be authentic.
Yeah, and obviously you could do like local art walks or like festivals or farmers markets and things like that. Like any kind of opportunity that you feel comfortable with, that you're interested in doing. Getting your stuff out there, when I say that, it means just taking a look around you and seeing any opportunity that there is to just let the world know that you are an artist and that you create art. That's basically it. So whether it happens in a conversation, whether it happens by you doing a show, whether it happens by you putting your art in a business or in a gallery or whatever the case is, or talking about it online or writing a blog or doing a video, it is all about having the conversation about art and promoting to the world that yes, I am indeed an artist.
And the ones who are curious about learning more about you and your art will reach you.
Yes.
Will reach out to you about it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Matt, for this question. Hopefully that gave you a little bit more insight into it. You know, I think the biggest thing that I could take away from this question and from my experience is that the only thing stopping me from doing it was worrying that it was way more complicated than it actually was. And there came this point where I realized that it wasn't complicated. It's just about relationships. It's just about going out there and talking to people, having the conversation versus avoiding talking about it because you're nervous that you might say the wrong thing. Just have the conversation and tell everyone. Tell everyone about it. That's what marketing is. Marketing, if you could narrow down marketing, it's like tell everyone.
Hark!
Yeah. And some people will be like, you suck. And some people will be like, that's awesome. You know, like you just tell everyone and let everyone know who you are. Announce it from the mountaintops and be like, I am an artist.
I think you may have just caused an avalanche from the mountaintops.
Good. Now everyone knows.
An art avalanche, if you will. Thank you, Matt, for this question. It's awesome. Hopefully this was helpful. Fear of rejection and fear of overcomplication. You gotta just work past those things. Just
do you. Just remember, you're just having a conversation. You're just telling people who you are and what you is about. And I'm curious to know if you guys have any tips for Matt as far as like getting your stuff out there. Because obviously we have our experience, but our experience is limited to what we've done. I'm curious to hear of like innovative, awesome ways that you've either approached a business or just put yourself out there in any way, shape, or form. It's always exciting for me to hear these stories from like you amazing creatives of some of the cool stuff that you've done. in pushing outside of your comfort zone and getting out there, just list those in the comment section below. And thank you so much for watching, you guys. You guys are absolutely freaking amazing. I totally adore you. And if you like this and you want to watch more like this, just click right over here to subscribe. And that's it. Say goodbye, Clee.
Good day.
Adios.
Total awesomeness.
All right. Next.
Oh, I'm part of the band. You hear that?
You're not. You'll never be part of this band.